Blood Mountain. The murder of Meredith Emerson. As a true crime enthusiast, I am always looking for stories I haven't heard a million times. Unfortunately, there are too many to count, and deciding which ones deserve coverage is tricky. But when I learned of Meredith Emerson's murder, I felt compelled to share it because I'd never seen it covered before. So, here we go. The victim. Meredith Hope Emerson was born to Susan and David Emerson on June 20, 1983, in Charleston, South Carolina. She was primarily raised in Holly Springs, North Carolina, until her family moved to Longmont, Colorado. She returned to the South for college in 2001. In 2005, she graduated from the University of Georgia with a BA in French. According to everyone who knew her, Meredith adored the language and culture of the European country. She passionately studied it during her time at UGA, living in a residence hall dedicated to the study of Romance languages. Additionally, she studied abroad in France and was a proud member of the French Honor Society Pi Delta Pi. The timeline. January 1, 2008. Meredith was hiking with her dog, Ella, on Blood Mountain when she disappeared. She was last seen speaking with an older man who, according to his testimony, was asking for her debit card PIN. January 2, 2008. Meredith's friends instantly became concerned when she did not return from her hike. They began to search for her but found nothing. January 4, 2008. Ella was found in Cumming, Georgia, which is approximately 60 miles from where she and her owner had last been seen. Also on this day, an eyewitness saw a man cleaning out his van at a Chevron gas station. Police were immediately concerned that the man was disposing of evidence, so they rushed to the gas station. Upon forensic analysis, Meredith's blood was found in the van amongst other physical evidence that she had been there. Gary Michael Hilton was arrested and charged with Meredith's murder. The prosecution agreed to take the death penalty off the table if Hilton would lead them to Meredith's remains. He did so, and they were gruesome, to say the least. Meredith had died of blunt force trauma to the head. She was also found nude and decapitated. It is unclear if Hilton sexually assaulted her or not, but the removal of her head was likely done post-mortem to prevent identification. January 30, 2008. Hilton pleaded guilty to Meredith's murder and was sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole in 30 years. The perpetrator, Gary Michael Hilton, was born on November 22, 1946, in Atlanta, Georgia. There is little to no information about his life until he comes under suspicion of murder. Based on what is known about serial killers, though, we can presume it was far from pleasant. Hilton has been given the moniker, the National Forest Serial Killer. Aside from Meredith, his other potential victims include Judy Smith, Pisgah National Forest, North Carolina, 1997, remains found, no other forensic evidence or confession exists. Jason Knapp, Table Rock State Park, South Carolina, 1998, declared legally dead in 2018, no other forensic evidence or confession exists. Patrice Endres, Cumming, Georgia, 2004, no alibi, circumstantial evidence exists. Rosanna Miliani, Appalachian Trail, Florida, 2005, eyewitness account, no forensic evidence or confession exists. John and Irene Bryant, Pisgah National Forest, North Carolina, 2007, evidence and remains found, conviction rendered. Cheryl Dunlap, Apalachicola National Forest, Florida, 2007, eyewitness accounts, rumors of a serial offender. Michael Lewis, Ormond Beach, Florida, 2007, currently a suspect, no other forensic evidence or confession exists. Because many of his crimes were committed on federally owned land, Hilton faces higher penalties than he would otherwise. The aftermath. In 2010, Hustler magazine requested crime scene and autopsy photos of Meredith Emerson from the Georgia Bureau of Investigation (GBI) for a story on her case. Emerson's family requested that, despite the Freedom of Information Act, Hustler's petition be denied. A Georgia judge ruled that the depiction of Meredith in a dismembered or nude state could not be allowed, as she cannot consent to it. The Meredith Emerson Memorial Privacy Act was unanimously passed on the same date as the temporary ruling. Criminal profilers from the FBI and other judicial organizations believe that Hilton's crimes did not begin suddenly in the mid-2000s, or even in 1997. He could likely be responsible for many more. In 2018, Hilton attempted to overturn his death penalty conviction in Florida, citing ineffective counsel, but was not successful. He is currently imprisoned in the Union Correctional Institution in Rayford, Florida.